Hello and welcome to another Kingshot video. Today we are going to be talking about the Alliance Championship event. It's one that it's quite close to me at the moment. I'm kind of in charge of our strategy for it, so I'm going to give out some hints, some tips, what players should do, what players shouldn't do. The fact that it's quite a nice quality of life event that you get some nice rewards for because you don't actually have to be online to participate, you just have to register. And we're going to kind of go through those, go through what it is, ways in which you can probably try and win, even if you're a little bit outnumbered. So we'll start off with this little video. I quite like the fact that they do these cheesy videos with this, really, because it allows you to sort of get an understanding. So there is 3 flags across the map, and they are all in different lanes. You have 3 teams. This is your enemy team. This is you. This is how it will show on your side. And you can only fight in one of these lanes. You can have 20 participants per lane, so you will need ideally 60 plus members from your alliance willing to participate in this event. I think we get about 85 now, and then some sit in reserves. There is some sneaky tactics that people do use with that, and we'll kind of go on to the more sneaky side towards the back end. It's not for me personally, but we do it. So your aim is to capture at least 2 of these flags to win. And you do that by the 20 armies fighting against each other. You can only defeat 2 governors, and this is another thing that kind of plays into your tactics really with this one, because you could just send a Kraken into one lane. He would probably take out 10 of the armies, but unfortunately he's not allowed to, so they get removed after 2 fights, whether you win or lose. Whoever beats the 20 armies in each lane, or if there's not 20 armies, defeats the amount of armies that's in that lane, wins. And as long as you win 2 of the flags, you win that round of the combat. So that's kind of how that works. The general rewards are pretty good. We're in the Iron tier now. We've just won the Iron tier. And you get 11.9 championship badge points, really. I will very quickly show you the shop for that. Because I think it's quite a good event for getting pieces that you'd like. So you can use it to get the gilded threads, which is really useful, and you can use it also to get the silks. I wish this time round I'd have got more silks. I tend to run out of silk before anything else, which is really frustrating. I know some other guides say you're likely to run out of artisan vision first, but the reality I found is that I've run out of the sort of cottons and the silk first, really. So that's kind of that. So this is the shop. You can get some purple shards, which is always handy. You can get some speed ups, which is always nice. But for me personally, you should be getting those top 2 items there in your early seasons, because I think it's really useful. So we'll kind of just go back to the event again. We've got quite a few events coming up at the moment, actually. So this was the last time that we played, and we defeated 209 armies and won the event, which was quite good. Now, some of these teams are actually stronger than us, but with the way that it kind of worked out with the lanes, it worked out okay. You'll see we only won 10 flags, and one of those was in a loss, so we won 9 flags in the other 4 games. Our tactic is very much win 2 flags. So you'll see these results here. We lost the first game, and that was pretty unlucky, to be honest. You don't get to see your opponent's armies before the first game. If we'd have had one of our bigger players in a different lane to just one of our other bigger players, as simple as it was, we would have actually won that one, which is a bit annoying. But by the time round 2 comes around, you can start to see what formations people have got in front of you. So you'll be able to see in preliminary maze, and you can move your people between the lanes, which is quite nice. You can look at reports, and you can see whether you won. So this is your actual power that's left before each fight. So you can kind of see which people won, which people lost. You can use this for intel because you can press on the other people's rounds beforehand. So there was a particular fight. I think it's in round 4, maybe. I think the people we played last, which was the United Fighters, don't actually have... One team in here didn't actually have someone in one of the lanes. Maybe it was these. Here you go. So they actually didn't have anyone in one of the lanes. So what we did was we looked beforehand and saw their result beforehand, and saw they also didn't have anyone in any of the lanes. So they kind of must keep this tactic of trying to win the 2 lanes. So by the time we fought those, which was Red Sun, we kind of knew that all we had to do was make sure one of our other lanes was more powerful than their other 2. So we managed to win that one. The aim is to try and win at least 2 lanes. So on one of them we did win 3 lanes, which was unusual for us. But the tactic for us is kind of make 2 really strong lanes and try and line them up, because you can see beforehand in the preparation stage who's in what lane. So we're trying to make our power on our side, say if we're in this left-hand lane here, better than their right-hand lane there, and then we're pretty much guaranteeing ourselves the win, providing we've got 20 people over that thing. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's kind of the way we're going about it. So if you just try and line up to make sure two of your lanes are actually more powerful than your opponent, you tend to be able to go through this. I've seen a lot of teams try and win all three lanes, and all it does is kind of dilute your actual power base. So my recommendation is you go for two. There's some good tactics, and I think in the sort of previous events that we've played, not necessarily this one, we had some ones whereby we'd lined up quite nicely with 4 or 5 minutes to go, and we thought we were going to win 2 flags, and then people have changed last minute, which is again a good tactic, I think, to try and be online just before, because they're kind of 10 UTC each time a day, I think it is. So if you can have someone online from an R4 and above who can set these and kind of tweak things at the last possible second, you can probably do that quite well. Again, another one of the tactics that we've seen, and I thought was quite interesting, was people lining up with just 2 full lanes and keeping the rest of their power in subs, so you can't actually see what other power they've got. So they look like they've got 2 really strong lanes, but the reality is they've probably got a third lane of 3/4 that strength that's kind of hidden beneath there, and then people at the last second move them into the third lane. Very good tactic to kind of keep yourself away from being able to sort of scout what people are doing. However, once you've done that once or twice in these events, because you can look back through people's previous rounds, again, the likelihood is someone will find out what you're trying to do. But the main tactic for me is you aim to win 2 lanes, because that's all you need to do to get the points. It doesn't always work, because sometimes if someone does have a big power differential at the back end, they may beat 4 armies quite simply without you doing too much. So just try your best to try and line up as best you can with that and get yourself promoted. The rewards for this event are quite nice. Like I say, the shop's there, so I could have just pressed there actually to go to the shop, but there you go. The rewards for this event are quite nice, and they scale up as you go through the tiers. So you'll see stone for winning was only 9,500, and then if you're getting into the diamond, which we would quite like to be able to get there at some point, but I think we're a long way off that, you get 23.8k for coming first in there. And you get some nice rewards as well for actually knocking out some opponents. Quite an interesting event, like I say, because you don't have to be online to be able to play them. And we like that, because it just means people can play passively as long as they've registered. You can kind of just get in there and make sure the event goes well for them, which is always nice. We are, I believe, about to go into bronze, I think, or we might have to go into Iron 2 first, actually, and then Iron 3, but we're hoping to get up into bronze as fast as possible to try and move through. It gets more difficult every time unless your power also goes up. So you can see at the moment we're on ranked in bronze 3, so that's where we're going. So that's kind of everything I wanted to talk about with the Alliance Championship event. Like I say, it's a weekly event, so it's quite nice. You can just set yourself to get in there, and one of your R4s will actually move people around. Handy event for picking up some really nice rewards. Like I say, if you're getting sort of 15,000 points, picking up these are pretty good, and it's a nice way of increasing your governor gear on a weekly basis, really, even for free to play. And with that, that's everything I've got time for today, so happy gaming everyone, and enjoy Kingshot.